The tone of the discussions in Davos has clearly changed. Security dominated this year's forum, pushing economic issues, which had been its trademark for years, into the background. The war in Ukraine and pressure from Russia have meant that the question of Europe's ability to defend its own territory is no longer a political theory. For many leaders, this is a moment of reckoning for years of neglect and strategic illusions, all the more so because today they must prove their ability to act independently.
The president of Poland, Karol Nawrocki.
It is in this context that European security has become one of the key topics of the forum. One of the most important events of the day was a panel discussion on defense, attended by, among others, the NATO Secretary General, the President of Poland, and the President of Finland.
Would have come to 2% in 2025, when they were only on 1.5% at the beginning of the year. No way. Without Donald Trump, this would never have happened. They're all on 2% now. Do you really think that in the summit in The Hague, as already Alex was saying, the president of Finland was saying, that we would come to an overall defense spending of 5%, including 3.5% in core defense, if President Trump would not have been re-elected as president of the United States? No way. It would never have happened.
These words resonated particularly strongly at a time when real diplomatic games are being played around Ukraine. They were further reinforced by the position of Polish President Karol Nawrocki, who emphasized who and to what extent is currently holding up the entire structure of NATO's functioning.
In terms of security, United States of America paying 65% for NATO and Europeans 35%, we have to consider what Donald Trump would like to say about the security, because he's responsible for security of the world as the leader, and we would like to support.
The president of Finland also spoke, pointing to the effects of Russian aggression and the Kremlin's miscalculations. At the same time, however, he tried to prove that he himself has real opportunities to oppose Moscow.
This war has been an utter strategic failure of President Putin. He increased the size of NATO. He made Ukraine European. He increased the defense budgets of European states. And here we are asking ourselves, shaking, are we able to defend ourselves? My answer is yes, we are.
In Davos, we are hearing more and more often that Europe has begun to make up for lost time. But at the same time, there is no doubt that the impetus for this change was pressure from the United States. However, it is still the Americans who are the main force behind the alliance.
So again, I'm not popular with you now because I'm defending Donald Trump, but I really believe we can be happy that he is there, because he has forced us in Europe to step up, to face the consequences, that we have to take care more of our own defense.
In this context, Donald Trump's words are particularly noteworthy as he directly and critically assesses the direction in which Europe is heading today.
And perhaps how you two and the places where you come from can do much better by following what we're doing, because certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument. Friends come back from different places. I don't want to insult anybody, and say, I don't recognize it. And that's not in a positive way. That's in a very negative way. And I love Europe, and I want to see Europe go good, but it's not heading in the right direction.
The words of the American president only emphasize the scale of tensions in transatlantic relations and the pressure Europe is facing today, all the more so because American policy has severely tested Europe's self-defense capabilities. The fact that key European business players are talking today about stability and shared prosperity, presenting Europe as a bastion of ideas and peace, shows how radically different the guests in Davos view the geopolitical situation today.
We're all in to support Europe to be stronger in the world, but also to contribute to a peaceful world, a multilateral framework that actually can continue to provide us with win-win partnerships based on respect, shared prosperity, stability, because I think that that's, at the end of the day, what our children and grandchildren expect from us that are at the helm of important institutions at this historic moment.
Polish politicians, experts, and representatives of the scientific community are also present in Davos. For many of them, this is an opportunity to support the Polish security agenda. These political debates are necessary, and there are many of them here. It all takes place here in a very small area. As a result, everyone meets everyone else. These are behind-the-scenes conversations, and sometimes we sit together on one chair because there is not much space. But because of this, so to speak, we are very close to our interlocutors, to our partners, and everyone can talk to everyone else, which is very important because in this way, many good results can be achieved. So it is worth being here and worth coming. And I am very happy that President Karol Nawrocki is present here now, representing Polish affairs. Intense diplomacy is taking place in the background of the official debates in Davos. Yesterday evening, a meeting took place between the Kremlin's envoy and representatives of the U.S. delegation. At the same time, talks are being held between Kiev and Washington, and between Washington and Moscow. The details are not being disclosed, but the very fact that these contacts are taking place shows how high the stakes are in today's political negotiations. Donald Trump has announced a meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the forum. This may mean that Washington has finalized an agreement with Kiev, which was a condition for the Ukrainian president's arrival in Davos.